How far are we from being on?
Plays, 78 yards, 3 minutes,
How far are we from being on?
Knocks it through. We got a good one here tonight from Shea Stadium. ThunderRidge answers. We're all tied up at 7.
That's what I'm This might just be right on.
5 Jones, 2 receptions,
That's
33
20.
yards, and a touchdown.
That's 20. That's 20. That's 20. Jack is fixed.
And I do apologize for any technical difficulties. We're having some issues with our internet connection and microphones as we speak. It's been a rough night so far here in the broadcast. It is going to be 7-7 here at Shea Stadium. 6 minutes and 5 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. Well, Wes, we moved past our issues here with technical difficulties. We're figuring everything out right now.
Indeed, we did. We struggled getting the microphones working, and the internet connection was down for a while. So we're back in business now, Jack.
That's right. Well, and it's going to, as I mentioned before, 7-7. Regis Jesuit and the Grizzlies coming out strong here at Shea Stadium. 6 minutes and 5 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. And we had to re-kick. Did you get the reason for the re-kick, Wes?
Not sure what happened, Jack, but we will be having a re-kick.
And you know, it looks like a penalty against the Grizzlies. They're moving farther and farther back each time. You know, things like that just can't happen. Any penalty along those lines, you know, just it's never good for any team at any time, at any point in the game. And the kickoff is underway. Number 27. 87, excuse me. Kyle Johnson, senior tight end, coming in with the reception. And it's going to be, put the Raiders out on the field with a first down.
Short kick really gives the Raiders good field position on this play.
Well, that's going to put the Raiders offense out on the field. Wes, what do you think Hotelling needs to communicate to his offense? You know, what are the keys for him to succeed coming in with the 5 minutes remaining in the first quarter?
Seems like Hotelling's having some trouble with the offensive line. Usually putting up a good fight, but just like this on this play, struggling to make a block.
And Hotelling's going to end up keeping the ball. He's going to go to the 30, 20, 10. It's going to be a touchdown, Regis.
The defense really...
A 60-yard touchdown for the Regis Jesuit Raiders. And I do see a flag on the field. Hopefully it's in Regis Jesuit's favor.
Defense extremely fooled on that play. Thinking it was a run up the middle, but no, Hotelling keeps it and rolls outside.
You know, Wes, they even had me fooled there for a little bit. You know, Alec Barnes coming up with the fake and Hotelling keeping it. You know, it's especially a risky play. Hotelling not running as many of those, you know, in his career. He definitely has bulked up his rushing touchdowns, rushing yards. But it's fun. It's always fun to see a fake like that go around.
Within this past year, Hotelling has definitely improved his running ability, getting a lot lighter on his feet and able to make some cuts to fool the defense.
Well, he not only fooled the defense, he also fooled me on that one. And the extra point is going to be good. You know, it's been quite a hectic first quarter here, Wes. You know, 3 turnovers, Hotelling with a 60-yard run. I mean, crazy first quarter. Only, you know, we still have 5 minutes and 46 seconds remaining.
A couple big plays from both offensive teams. Really, really giving them the ability to score.
Both special team units out on the field, Wes. You know, I'm looking forward to some. You know, what else can happen? You know, I mean, we've had three different fumbles to fumble recovery for a touchdown. Regis Jesuit their offense barely being out on the field and only having 14 points. I mean, it's pretty remarkable. They've only had to have had 3 or 4 snaps, and yet they have 14 points on the scoreboard.
Those big plays in the touchdown from the defense has really given the Raiders offense the ability to rest on the sidelines and get prepared for the drives later in the game.
Well, I'm sure they're always looking forward to those rest points. I mean, especially getting as many on the board as they possibly can. And the kickoff is going to be underway. Riley with a booming kick past the end zone, and it's going to result in a touchback ball on the 20-yard line.
Riley proven to be an awesome kicker. Varsity soccer player for the Raiders. Able to get the foot on the ball solid every time and send it flying deep into the field.
Yeah, well, and that's right. I mean, Regis Jesuit has 2 pretty solid kickers. Daniel Nays goes in for the extra points, the field goals, and Matt Riley goes in for the kickoffs. You know, both big names. You know, looking forward to definitely their senior year. You know, Wes, something special to mention. Regis Jesuit, they've had 3 offensive snaps and 14 points on the board. That's pretty remarkable at any football game, at any age level, any age skill level. I mean, this is a pretty big game. ThunderRidge ThunderRidge Grizzlies taking on the Regis Jesuit Raiders. You know, it's something you don't usually see. You know, 3 snaps and 14 points on the board. Excuse me.
The time of possession has definitely been very one-sided this game so far.
And that previous play is going to result in a first down for the Grizzlies. Number 42, Austin Lionetti, senior Austin linebacker Lionetti. He's going to be the tackler on that previous play.
Lionetti having an awesome year so far, stepping up as a leader on the team as a senior. Last year he actually quit football and ceased playing after about the first half of the season. This year coming back and making a big impact on the Raiders defense.
That's right, and he's also a captain for the rugby team. Eve is going to line up under center, two-man back, 1 out wide. It's going to be under heavy pressure. The Regis Jesuit defensive line coming out strong in that previous play.
Seeing a lot of options run out on the field today.
It's definitely interesting, the Grizzly play calling method. I mean, they've come out strong, especially with a couple of plays. You know, good communication between the wide receivers and Eve. You know, so, big plays have happened. But they've also had a lot of stuff from the defensive line alone. And Eve is going to line up under center, 2-back set, 2 out wide. He's going to roll out. He wants to throw the ball, and it's going to result in a complete pass ball at about the 38-yard line.
Seen a lot of rolling out this game also, really challenging the defensive ends to keep their contain and keep the ball inside.
Well, in West, defensive end, it's a pretty big decision. You've played defensive end, or when you did for Regis Jesuit. What are some of the things you have to keep in mind when containing that edge?
Defensive end, you definitely need to keep in mind containing the edge, but also filling your gap and making sure that the running back or quarterback doesn't get outside of you. Also watching for the reverse if the play is going to the opposite way.
Definitely a tough position. It's going to be a handoff inside, a big third down for the Grizzlies, and it's going to result in a first down for the Grizzlies. Going to result in a 1st and 10 for the Grizzlies. 4 minutes and 13 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Eve is going to be under heavy pressure by the defensive line, and he's going to be brought down with a gain of about 5 yards from himself.
Eve did a really good job avoiding that tackle there. Changed a possible 3-yard loss into an almost 5-yard gain.
Well, and he was under heavy pressure from the defensive line. 2 coming back out wide, and he, as I mentioned before, he stays calm during these tough situations. Eve is going to line up under center. 2-back set. He's going to drop back, hand the ball up the middle, and it's going to be stuffed right up the middle.
See the linebackers doing a great job filling their gaps on that play. Also the defensive line squeezing together, not allowing the running back to get through. Awesome play by the Raiders defense.
Regis Jesuit's defense, they are one of the most disciplined, tough defenses I've ever seen, especially from a high school level statewise or in the state. They're just a tough group of guys who's not willing to let anybody push them around. Eve is going to hand it off right up the middle inside, and the ball's going to be brought down at about the 40-yard line. Will Lowry, the tackler on that previous play, however, that is going to result in a 1st and 10 for the Grizzlies. 2 minutes and 53 seconds remaining here in the first quarter.
Will Lowry, a two-sport athlete at Regis Jesuit, also plays baseball.
Eve under center. It's going to be a run outside, and he's going to eventually run out of bounds.
Cornerbacks did a good job of pushing the runner out of bounds, keeping him from gaining more yards on the play. Defensive coaches always emphasize that the sideline is your best player, because if you do step out, obviously it's a dead ball.
Exactly, and the sideline's not going to move on you. Number 30, Zeke Johnson for the Grizzlies. He's coming out pretty strong here tonight, coming with several carries. This is going to result in the 10th play of the drive for the Grizzlies. It's going to be a caught ball, and it is going to result in a 1st down for the Grizzlies. Excellent throw from Eve. Great communication between him and his wide receivers. This is one of I'm sure one of his strong suits coming into tonight's game. One thing I definitely overlooked while analyzing, previous stats, Eve, when he throws the ball, he means it, and he's gonna result mostly in a caught pass. He's gonna line up under center, 2-back set. He's gonna drop back, be under heavy pressure. He's gonna end up running the ball.
Once again, Eve able to get the defender to miss a tackle and turn a possible loss into a positive gain.
That's right, and the ball's going to be brought down at about the 15-yard line. 2 minutes and 5 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. Eve lined up in her center, 2-back set. He's going to drop back. It's going to be a run right up the middle inside, and it's going to be broken up very quickly. There's a helmet flying on the field.
Matt Stanley just refusing to go down on that play with a few defenders on his back, just keep pushing towards the positive yards.
And Wes, one thing I want to mention about with the helmet, as soon as your helmet comes off, you got to run straight to the sideline, strap that back on, have a substitution come in, and then you can run back out. But you do have to miss the next play.
By Chaz rules, the player does have to miss the next play. That's a relatively new rule coming in just about 2 or 3 years ago.
Especially coming, all the research with concussion-wise, definitely a big deal. And I don't think Knox was able to get the first down for the Grizzlies. It's going to bring up 4th and 2 for the Grizzlies. He was not able to push the ball far enough for the first down. We've got 1 minute remaining here in the second quarter. Excuse me, less than a minute on a running clock here in the second quarter. Or, excuse me, first quarter. It's going to be a timeout, Raiders. We're also going to take a quick timeout here on RJTV Sports Network. Welcome back here on RJTV Sports Network. Both teams out on the field yet again. Something to mention, Wes. ThunderRidge coming into tonight's game, they're already 2 for 2 for 4th down conversions. And this is going to be the 14th play of the drive. Wes, I'd say they're going to go for it. And it looks like they are. Eve is going to line up under center. 2 back set, 1 out wide. He's going to hand it off right up the middle. And it does look like the first down for the Grizzlies.
Stanley has been running his heart out for the first half, really driving the ball hard and breaking some tackles.
Stanley runs his heart out just as much as Alec Barnes does on any play. Definitely some, I could imagine some miscommunication from the defensive line point of view. Plays like that right up the middle usually don't go well for the offense against Regis Jesuit.
Especially when the Raiders are in their goal line stand defense. Having a few extra guys on the line of scrimmage, really emphasizing stopping the run.
That's right, and that previous play is going to result in maybe a gain of 1. He was under heavy pressure in the backfield, but he managed to break a couple of tackles and hopefully get the game of 1.
As we were saying before, the time of possession has been very one-sided in this game. Raiders only running a few plays while the Grizzlies are coming in on their almost 16th play of the drive.
That's right, and this is going to bring up the end of the first quarter. 14-7, Regis Jesuit. Some things to mention. Regis Jesuit only having three snaps with a result of 14 points against the ThunderRidge Grizzlies, 7.
The 2 turnovers for the ThunderRidge defense have ThunderRidge offense, have definitely made a large impact on the game. Chase Conkle with the scoop and score, giving the Raiders the lead early in the game.
That's right. We are going to take a quick break here on RJTV Sports Network. And welcome back here on RJTV Sports Network. You know, Wes, one note to mention, Thunder Ridge, they've had 31 plays into tonight's game. Regis Jesuit have only had 3. 31-3, and the scoreboard definitely does not reflect that. The time of possession from Thunder Ridge, as they've been having, it's remarkable. Definitely eating up as much time as possible. Eve is going to line up under center. He's going to drop back, be under somewhat pressure, and it's going to be a caught ball, but bounced out of his hands.
Donovan Doyle making a phenomenal play on the ball, making sure that the receiver doesn't bring the ball in inbounds.
That was a fantastic play from a defensive point of view. You know, knocking the ball out right of his hands just as he caught it. You can't ask for anything else. Third down. One back set. Eve is going to line up under center. He's going to be under heavy pressure. It's going to be an inside handoff. Johnson, and it is going to result in a touchdown for the Grizzlies.
Misdirection play on that one. Definitely fooled the defense, thinking he was going right. Ends up cutting it back and taking it left into the end zone.
Definitely a great runner. You know, Johnson, I do believe this is his first touchdown of the night. Zeke Johnson coming off strong here. Right as you mentioned, the cut right up the middle. I mean, you can't ask for anything more from the offensive running back point of view. And the extra point is good, resulting in 14-14 here at Shea Stadium. 11 minutes and 47 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. Excuse me.
On that misdirection play, as a defense, it's very important to watch the offensive line. Excuse me. But also keep an eye on the ball, obviously, just to make sure where it's going. But offensive line, when you're playing the defensive line, it's important that you fill your gap and push down with the offensive line when they do block down.
That's right. You know, the Regis Jesuit defensive line, they're definitely the most practiced, most trained, They go all out in practice with Coach Hasselback. You know, he puts his players through the limits and back, and I don't know what's going on out there. You know, the runs up the middle, right inside. You know, the zigzag right and out. I mean, I'm not exactly sure what's happening with the defensive line.
Hasselback definitely puts the defensive line through some rigorous tests when it comes to conditioning. Make sure that they're prepared for every game. It's interesting to see them having a little bit of trouble stopping the run today.
I frankly myself am a little surprised. Kick is going to result in inside the 20. And it's going to be brought down at about the 30-yard line. Jared Marine, the receiver on that play. You know, junior Jared Marine, he played varsity last year. Didn't get as many catches or snaps as I'm sure he would have liked to, but he's definitely had an impactful season for the Raiders here in the 2014 season. You know, coming out with several catches from Otelling. You know, great communication between the two of them. It's going to put the Raiders offense out on the field. Otelling's going to line up under center, 2-back set, 2 out wide. It's going to be a run right up the middle to Alec Barnes, and it's going to be met at about the line of scrimmage, maybe a loss of 1.
Barnes, another one of those sophomores making varsity. A junior this year as a running back, but last year played linebacker for the Raiders. Didn't get too many snaps, but still a key player on defense.
And there is a flag out on the field. I do believe somebody had a false start on the offensive side of the ball. Previous play was 2nd and 9, ball on the 32-yard line, 11 minutes and 14 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. be 2nd and 14, excuse me, for the Raiders. Hotelling's going to roll out, drop back, and it's going to be caught. Connor Shea, the tight end, the receiver on that play. Great catch on his part. You know, big tight end coming out for the Raiders.
Interesting story about Connor Shea. His freshman year came in as a tight end, but then sophomore and junior year he was the Raiders' starting center. So it's interesting to see him back out at the tight end position.
That's right, and it's going to be 3rd and very little for the Raiders, excuse me. Hotelling's going to keep it, and it's going to be a gain of about 2 to 3 yards, resulting in a first down for the Raiders. It's going to bring up 1st and 10 for the Raiders. Ball on the 43-yard line. Hotelling under center. One back set, one out wide, man in motion. It's going to be a pitch back out to Hotelling. And he's not going to be able to pull something out of this play. He's going to be brought out of bounds with a loss of about 4 to 5 yards.
Interesting play for the Raiders. You don't see that very often. A handoff to the running back, then a pitch back to the quarterback with a rollout. Defensive end on the Grizzlies defense did an awesome job of keeping contain on that play.
You know, Coach Nolan coming out pretty risky with a couple of these plays so far. It's interesting to see him make some of the more aggressive play calls. Man in motion, one back set, one out wide. Hotelling's going to hand it off to number 5, Alec Barnes. He's going to have several blocking players, and it's going to be brought down at about the 45-yard line.
Barnes such a strong running back, turning a second and long situation into a first down for the Raiders.
And that is going to result in a 1st and 10 for the Raiders. Ball on the 45-yard line. 10 minutes and 32 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. Hotelling lined up under center, one back set, two out wide, man in motion. It's going to be a handoff, and he's going to end up tripping. I do believe that was number 86, Cameron Matt. He tripped on that previous play. Hotelling lined up under center, two out wide, one back set. Barnes is going to trail Hotelling. Hotelling's going to end up keeping the ball, maybe a gain of about 4 to 5 yards.
Hotelling keeping the ball, seeing that the defensive line was doing their job, keeping contain on that play. Keeping the ball instead of pitching it in the option, that's very good decision by him.
You know, both the ThunderRidge and Regis Jesuit defense coming out strong here tonight, Wes. It's interesting to see. Hotelling's going to drop back, have a deep, deep pass, and it's going to be right through the intended receiver's hands. Oh, no, number 10, Emmanuel De Jesus. I don't know what happened and what was going on in his head. It would have resulted in a touchdown for the Raiders. He lost the ball.
Phenomenal throw by Hotelling, right to the hands of De Jesus, just happens to slip right through.
You know, you can't throw something like that, something so sweet and perfect, and have it be dropped right through the receiver's hands.
Got to be frustrating for the offense.
Hotelling under center, two man in motion, two out wide, one back set, man in motion yet again. It's going to be a handoff to Alec Barnes right up the C gap. And I do believe he got the 1st and 10 for the first down for the Raiders, resulting in a 1st and 10 for the Regis Jesuit offense. 9 minutes and 24 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. Ball on the 34-yard line, excuse me. Hotelling's going to line up under center. Two out wide, one back set. And there's definitely a little miscommunication between Hotelling and his receivers. It should have been a screen pass, and that was definitely not what ended up happening.
The right side offensive linemen, Jack Molly and Chris Martin, doing a great job blocking for the running back on that play.
Hotelling lined up under center, three out wide, one back set. He's going to drop back. The pass is going to hit the receiver's hands, and it's going to bounce out. Connor Shea, the intended receiver on that play.
Well,
12th play of the drive, 3rd and 10, 9 minutes and 11 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. Hotelling under center, one back set, man in motion, 2 out wide. It's going to be a handoff right up the middle inside to Barnes, and he's going to be met with a loss of yardage on that play. Excuse me, Hotelling ended up keeping the ball. Barnes fooling me yet again.
Awesome play action play from the Raiders. Really fooling the defense and fooling us up here, Jack.
That's right. There's nothing worse, especially for, the ball. Props to Alec Barnes, not only fooling the defense, but fooling the commentators.
Hotelling doing a great job putting the ball in his chest and taking it right back out.
It appears there might be a little miscommunication between the coaching staff and the Raiders offense. They're going to end up taking a timeout. We're also going to take a timeout here on RJTV Sports Network. And welcome back here on RJTV Sports Network. It's going to be a 4th and 10 for the Raiders, and I do believe they're going to go for it. Ball on the 34-yard line. Big play for the Raiders. So Telling's going to drop back, roll out, be under heavy pressure. And it's going to be a sack. It's going to be a loss of yards, a huge sack for the ThunderRidge Grizzlies. Definitely not what the Regis Jesuit Raiders offense wanted at a time like that. Stanley, the tackler in that play. Huge play for the ThunderRidge Grizzlies. Nothing worse can happen for the Raiders offense at a time like that.
A lot of pressure on Hotelling on that play, being chased from behind and from the front.
It's going to put the Grizzlies offense out on the field. Eve is going to line up in a pistol formation. It's going to pass the ball away, and it's going to result in an incomplete pass. Eve is going to drop back, hand the ball away, and it's going to be met with a loss of yardage. Chase Conkle, the tackler in that play. Chase Conkle and Gherkin, tacklers on that play. It's going to result in a 3rd and 11 for the Grizzlies. 7 minutes and 55 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. Ball on the 34-yard line. Eve line up in a pistol formation. 2 out left, 1 out to the right. He's going to drop back. He's going to be under heavy pressure. And the pass is going to result in incomplete.
Looked like Conkle might have got a hand on that one, causing a deflection.
That's right, and the Raiders' defensive line just too overwhelming for Eve to be able to make a play happen.
Defensive line's definitely stepped their game up since the first quarter, really putting some pressure on the quarterback.
That's right, and that's going to put the special teams punting unit out on the field for the Grizzlies. Lowry out to catch for the Raiders. And this is going to be the first punt of the game. It's going to be a high snap. Lowry's going to catch it. It's going to be a huge block for the Raiders. The ball's going to be brought down at about the 39-yard line. Number 38, junior Ryan Maxfield with a huge hit for the Raiders. Maxfield, he's he's a rugby player, plays rugby in the spring. That's really his true passion. He's just one of those guys who loves to hit people, Wes.
Maxfield definitely has an interest in contact sports.
Yeah, that is right, Wes. With the Raiders offense out on the field, the Telling's going to line up under center. 2 out wide, 1 back set, man in motion. It's going to be a handoff to number 5, Alec Barnes. Alec Barnes is going to break a couple of tackles. Barnes to the 30, to the 20, to the 10, and it's going to be a touchdown, Raiders.
Absolutely.
Total of 61 yards for Alec Barnes. Huge play for the Raiders offense.
Absolutely phenomenal run by Alec Barnes, able to spin away from a tackle and break free, get that massive touchdown of 61 yards.
One of the unique things Alec Barnes is able to pull out of an empty play, I'm sure the run was intended right up the middle. He saw it was a closing gap, spun out wide, and was able to pull out the 61-yard touchdown run.
Barnes able to view the field and see where it's open, able to run it there and make big plays.
That's one of the special things Barnes is able to do during any time at any game. And the extra point is good, 21-14. Regis Jesuit, 7 minutes and 11 seconds remaining here in the second quarter.
Alec Barnes, an absolutely phenomenal running back from the Raiders. Last week against Highlands Ranch with 8 rushes and 105 yards, averaging 13.1 yards per carry.
Well, and definitely his biggest game to talk about against Mullen. 5 touchdowns, Lucky number 5 for Alec Barnes, 5 touchdowns. You can't beat that. He's such a stud when it comes out to running the ball for the Raiders offense.
Done a great job stepping up in the running back position for the Raiders this year.
He has definitely filled the big shoes Trevor Williams left with his injury. Kickoff is underway. Riley with the booming kick to about the 10-yard line. It's going to have a good bounce right out of bounds. The flag is going to be thrown, resulting in a touchback for the Grizzlies.
Ball goes out of bounds. We'll see an illegal procedure from the kicking team. That'll bring the ball to the 35-yard line.
Excuse me, the 35-yard line. It's going to put the Grizzlies offense out on the field. Eve is going to line up in a pistol formation, hand it off to 31 Knox. He's going to be met by several red and white players.
29 Anthony Gherkin able to come off the edge from the outside linebacker position and chase him down from behind. Awesome play by Anthony.
Anthony Gherkin, he's one of those seniors. He's kind of been playing, not one of the biggest names, Wes, but definitely coming out strong his senior year, showing the team, showing other teams around the state who he is, and to remember his number.
Anthony Gherkin, another one of those players that's been moved around a lot. Started off the season as a corner, then moved to receiver, now back to outside linebacker.
Eve lined up in a pistol formation, 2nd and 15. It's going to be a handoff inside, and he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage. It's going to bring up 3rd and 12 for the Grizzlies. 6 minutes remaining here in the second quarter.
Eve under center, motion to the left. Snap drops back. The throw right through the hands of number 17. Got to be frustrating for Eve. That'll bring another punt from the ThunderRidge offense. Raiders doing an awesome job stopping the ball. Second punt of the game. Lowry back to receive. Perfect snap. High booming punt. Fair catch at about the 34 yard line, excuse me.
Put the Raiders offense out on the field with the result of the punt. Great job from the defense holding the Grizzlies to yet another unscoring drive. Hoteling lineup under center, man in motion. And there's going to be an illegal formation. Flag is thrown.
Looks like that'll be an offsides on the Raiders. We'll bring them back 5 yards. Both teams having a lot of turnovers and a lot of penalties this game. Need to work on cleaning up the football to really get the team on the field and allowing them to score.
That's going to result in a 1st and 15 for the Raiders. Ball on the 28-yard line. Telling it's going to be a run. Alec Barnes. He's going to get a huge gain, maybe of about 12, 13 yards.
Barnes really running downhill right now, able to power through the defense while running straight up, not lowering his shoulder too much, just able to drive.
You know, he's one of those players who can turn a 1st and 15 into a 2nd and 3 within a heartbeat. Telling under center, 2-back set. He's going to hand it off to Alec Barnes. Excuse me, Gabe Holt-Jones. He's going to run across the 50, and he's going to be brought down at about the 45-yard line, 44-yard line.
Holt-Jones doing a good job stepping up also after Trevor Williams got hurt.
Hotelling's going to line up under center, man in motion. It's going to be a handoff to inside Gabe Holt-Jones yet again.
Looks like that could be close to a 1st down. Not quite sure if it will be. We might see a measurement. Oh, it is a 1st down. Referee signaled.
And that is going to result in a 1st down. You know, Barnes tonight alone, 93 yards with only 6 carries. Do the math yourself, Wes. I mean, he's having one heck of a game.
Phenomenal game by Barnes. Really able to gain massive yards on every carry.
Hotelling lined up under center. It's going to be a handoff to number 4, Jared Marine, around the outside. And it's going to be met with a couple of yards, a gain of a couple of yards. It's going to result in a 2nd and 7 for the Raiders. Ball on the 32-yard line. 3 minutes and 50 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. Man in motion, Hotelling under center. It's going to be a run to Holt-Jones yet again, right up the middle. It's going to be met at nearly the line of scrimmage.
We see the last 2 plays looking very similar with motion off to the right, but 2 different results, one handing off to the outside and one up the middle, really causing deception in the Grizzlies defense.
You know, I'm sure that's the complete and total intent of the Regis Jesuit coaching staff, calling these plays, looking exactly the same, but both going opposite directions. 3rd and 4,
Great design.
Hotelling's going to keep the ball. It's going to be a man wide open to the 20-yard line, to about the 25-yard line. Excuse me, to the 20-yard line. It's going to be brought down at about the 15-yard line. Number 86, Cameron Matt, junior Cameron Matt. Jack Stoll being injured with the broken collarbone, or excuse me, with the concussion. That's Trevor Williams. Cameron Matt coming out strong. Several players have been injured and have had several replacements coming out. Very strong for each team. Hotelling under center, man in motion. It's going to be a handoff to Holt Jones. Run right through the B gap and met with a gain of about 3 yards.
The Raiders team really coming from experience. Most of the coaches having lots of football or athletic background. Coach Nolan running track at Willamette University, excuse me. And a couple other coaches, including Coach Smith, the linebackers coach, playing football at Clemson.
One of the things to mention about Coach Nolan, he was the head scout for the University of Colorado for, I do believe, 6 years. Telling under center, man in motion, one back set. It's going to be a run up the middle, and he's going to be stuffed right at the line of scrimmage, resulting in maybe a loss of 1 yard.
Holt Jones, a strong running back, able to take a few hits.
Instead of a loss, he's going to get a gain, resulting in a 3rd and 7 for the Raiders. Ball on the 14-yard line, 2 minutes and 10 seconds remaining here in the second quarter.
Looking like some confusion on the field from the Raiders offense.
Definitely some miscommunication. They might end up taking a timeout here, and that's exactly what they're going to do. We're going to also take a quick timeout here on RJ TV Sports Network. And welcome back here on RJ TV Sports Network. We're telling lineup under center, 2-back set. It's going to be a handoff to, I do believe, Holt Jones. With right up the B gap, I do believe a gain of 3 or 4 yards. Resulting in a 4th and 1 for the Raiders. 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining here in the second quarter on a running clock. 2014, Regis Jesuit. 4th down, big play for the Raiders. And it's going to be broken up. ThunderRidge is going to call a timeout. We're also going to take a quick timeout here on RJ TV Sports Network. And welcome back here on RJTV Sports Network. Big play for the Raiders offense. Fourth and 1, excuse me. It's going to be a run right up the middle with Holt Jones. And it's going to be a touchdown, Regis Jesuit.
Holt Jones basically untouched into the end zone. Great play.
I'm not exactly sure what happened with the defensive line. Great blocking from the offensive point of view.
It's exactly what the Raiders wanted. Taking the lead, or taking more of a lead, while approaching onto the second half.
Coming out with a 13-point lead before the extra point. And the extra point is good, resulting in a 14-point lead, 28-14. Excuse me, the point after is no good, no good. It's no good. Only a 13-point lead. You know, Drake, or Wes, excuse me, one of the things I always talk about when a missed point, a missed field goal, it definitely plays a role in, how the outcome of the game is affected. I mean, you miss a point like an easy point like that, and it definitely, puts the team at a disadvantage whether or not you're up 13 points.
In a close game, an extra point like that can definitely come back to haunt you. We see teams in the NFL and college football losing on that missed extra point or having to go for a 2-point conversion to end up tying the game or winning the game.
It's going to give the Grizzlies offense 1 minute and about 20 seconds, 1 minute and 24 seconds to move the ball down the field.
We're going to see how the cornerbacks on the Raiders defense are able to handle this last offensive stretch for the Grizzlies before we enter halftime. Hopefully they can do a good job of covering their receivers and possibly getting a 3-and-out, giving the Raiders one last opportunity.
The kickoff is underway. It's a booming kick by Riley. Caught at about the 10-yard line. It's going to be running right to about the 30-yard line, and he's going to go out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. Minute 18 here in the second quarter. Grizzlies offense out on the field. It's going to be a 1st and 10, 27-14, Regis Jesuit. First and 10, ball on the 32-yard line. Eve is going to line up under center, 2-back set, 1 out wide. Eve is going to drop back. And is going to hand it off to Knox. It was a handoff that fooled me. I thought Eve had it for quite a longer time than he actually did.
Looked like there was a little bit of a miscommunication on the play. Ace Escobedo missing a tackle that could have brought the running back down for a loss. Instead, he breaks the tackle and ends up gaining about 3-4 yards.
Eve is going to be under heavy pressure and is going to eventually throw the ball away, resulting in an incomplete pass. 2nd and 6 for the Grizzlies. Ball on their own 36-yard line. 27-14, Regis Jesuit with 44.3 seconds remaining here in the second quarter.
Chase Conkle able to put up a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Conkle actually ranked 4th in the state for a number of sacks, having a lot of key games with a lot of sacks, especially against Mullen, having 4 in one game.
Well, and Conkle's not a guy who's only going to make sacks happen, but he's also going to get the fumbles and get the fumble recoveries. And the pass is going to be caught from Eve, resulting in a 1st down for the Grizzlies, and I do believe he got out of bounds.
We're seeing Grizzlies coach Joe Johnson emphasizing the pass on this drive. Definitely having some time restraints with only 37.8 seconds left.
It's definitely on a burden on your back, especially coming into the second half. I mean, this is something a coach never wants. Eve lined up in a pistol formation. He's going to drop back, pass the ball away. 2 players are going to collide. And the ball went right through number 9, Christian Eisenberg's hands.
Gunnar Patterson and Patrick Bennett both on the play. Eve thrown into double coverage a little bit on that one.
And it looked like Gunnar and Patrick even collided. Eve lined up in a pistol formation, 4 out wide, 1 back set. The snap is going to be muffled up. and it's going to hit the intended receiver's hands, nearly picked off.
Absolutely phenomenal play by number 20, Donovan Doyle, getting a hand on that ball and keeping him from catching it.
And that's going to result in a 3rd and 10, ball on the 46-yard line. 27.8 seconds remaining here for the Grizzlies.
This is a very important 3rd down conversion for the Grizzlies and Eve this drive.
Eve is going to line up in a pistol formation, drop back, be under heavy pressure by Chase Conkle especially. The ball is going to be nearly, I do believe it was possibly tipped. It's going to result in a 4th and 10 for the Grizzlies.
Eve doing a lot of throwing on the run today. It's difficult for a quarterback to throw on the run, especially when he's going the opposite way of his handedness, having to turn across his body and fire.
And that's going to put the punting unit out on the field for the Grizzlies. Lowry back to catch the punt for the Raiders.
Let's see if Coach Nolan ends up calling a few plays to see if the Raiders can score a couple more points before the end of halftime.
That's right. We only have 21.7 seconds remaining before the punt. And the punt is going to land at about the 20-yard line, giving the Raiders decent field position for the upcoming drive.
11 seconds left. We should see possibly one more play, maybe a quarterback kneel to conserve time.
It's going to be a 1st and 10 for the Raiders. 11 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. You know, Wes, what do you think some things the coaches are going to talk to the Raiders during halftime in the locker room are going to be?
We've emphasized it before, but cleaning up the play is definitely going to be big in this offense. Doing a better job the second half, but still a few too many penalties and a couple turnovers.
That's right, and that previous play is going to be a handoff to Holt Jones right up the middle. And that's going to be the end of the first half here at Shea Stadium. Regis Jesuit taking on the ThunderRidge Grizzlies. 27-14 here at the end of the first half. You know, Wes, what were some of the big plays from your point of view up here?
Obviously, Chase Conkle's scoop and score was huge, putting the Raiders on the board first. But also, Barnes and Holt Jones with their rushing touchdowns. Absolutely phenomenal job from the running backs today.
You know, Barnes is, I've said it before and I'm going to say it again, he's such a stud when he comes to, just running the ball like, how he does it. Definitely a huge player. Hotelling having great passing yards. Definitely a good game. We've got quite a great game here for a Friday night football game here at Shea Stadium. That's going to wrap it up for us here during the first half. We'll bring the second half, back on RJTV Sports Network. And welcome back here to RJ TV Sports Network here at Shea Stadium, 27-14. Regis Jesuit just about to kick off the second half. So Wes, what do you think were the main points for Regis coming out strong in the first half?
Once again, the scoop and score by Chase Conkle was huge, and also the rushing touchdowns by Holt Jones and Barnes. We've already said it once, but really want to emphasize how important those three touchdowns were for the Raiders' offense and defense.
And, we've got some stats to mention. Regis Jesuit coming out with 8 first downs, ThunderRidge only 7. Rushing yards, 217 compared to 98 for ThunderRidge. 26 passing yards to ThunderRidge's 95. 243 total and 193 for ThunderRidge.
ThunderRidge doing a good job on third down conversions, though, 3 for 6, while the Raiders are actually 0 for 3.
The turnovers, Regis Jesuit only having 1 turnover, ThunderRidge having 2. The one thing to mention, though, Regis Jesuit having 2 for 3 fourth down conversions. ThunderRidge 100%, 3 for 3 fourth down conversions. The kickoff was underway. Ball was bounced to about the 33-yard line. Caught and then bounced to the and ran to the 33-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Raiders offense. 11 minutes and 54 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Hotelling's going to line up under center. 3 out wide, 1 back set. Man in motion. It's going to be a handoff to the inside. And I do believe that was Barnes. Barnes missing out on several snaps during the second quarter. Pierce rebounded and coming out strong here in the third quarter.
Barnes looked a little shook up at the very end of the second quarter. Back in the game now, able to shake off that injury and start rushing the ball for the Raiders again.
2nd and 9 for the Raiders. Hotelling under center. He's going to drop back. And it was a pitch to Alec Barnes, and the defense just ruined at number 5, Alec Barnes. A huge loss of yards on the play.
Looked like a jailbreak almost from the offensive line. It seemed like everyone got through on that play. Possibly a screenplay designed, although it was a handoff to the running back, so I'm not quite sure what happened.
Or maybe even some miscommunication, because Alec Barnes looked a little stunned by how many blue and green jerseys he saw. Hotelling's going to drop back. Fired it out wide, and it's going to be a caught pass to about the 45-yard line. Hotelling's going to pass it away to DeJesus, number 10, DeJesus, resulting in a first down for the Raiders.
After dropping that potential touchdown earlier in the game, DeJesus making an awesome catch. Kind of
trying to rebound here for DeJesus.
Definitely making a rebound, catching that ball.
Hotelling under center, 1 back set. He's going to pitch it out to number 5, Barnes, and the defense is reading Barnes like no tomorrow. He has been stuffed twice now behind the line of scrimmage, with a loss of yards.
The ThunderRidge Grizzlies definitely putting a lot of pressure on the ball. Barnes getting stuffed almost directly after he receives the ball. Losing yards.
Hotelling under center, 2 out wide, 1 back set. Handoff to Barnes up the middle. Barnes losing yards yet again. He went about 6 yards forward and came just as far back.
I think he'll be given forward progress on the play for a gain of about 3 yards.
Still, I'm not exactly sure what's going on with Alec Barnes. Maybe an injury within the second quarter. He came out, not getting as many snaps as I mentioned before. It's definitely showing, proven to play a role in the third quarter. Hotelling lined up under center. Four out wide, 1 back set. Hotelling drops back. It's going to be across the middle, and the pass is going to be dropped. It hit him right in the chest. Senior Connor Shea could not hold on to the pass.
As we said before, Connor Shea moving from offensive line to tight end. It could be a little bit different, actually getting to catch the ball on a regular basis. Did handle the ball every play for the offense in the past 2 years being the center, but being a tight end is probably a little bit of a different experience for him.
Definitely a game changer for Connor Shea. Plavakovic back to punt the ball away for the Raiders. This is going to be the first punt for the Regis Jesuit Raiders. A decent bounce for the ThunderRidge Grizzlies. Some of the Grizzlies coming off clapping, coming off to the sidelines. Not Michael Plavakovic's best punt we've seen.
Let's see what the Grizzlies coach Johnson can do on this drive, calling plays and making some decisions.
That's going to put the ball on the 13-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Grizzlies. 9 minutes and 19 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. 27-14, Regis Jesuit. Eve lined up in a pistol formation. He's going to drop back, pass it away to number 5, John Jones. And that's going to result in a first down, a new set of downs for the Grizzlies.
We've seen Patrick Bennett, number 17, in on a lot of tackles. Being a cornerback has to make those deep zone tackles to prevent from big plays happening in the Raiders' defensive backfield.
9 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. 1st and 10 for the Grizzlies. Ball on the 24-yard line. Eve lined up under center, 2-back set. It's going to be an inside handoff. Johnson. Zeke Johnson is going to be met at the line of scrimmage with maybe a game.
Handoff to Zeke Johnson, stood up by a pile of Raiders led by number 7, Chase Kunkel.
And that's going to result in a 2nd and 10 for the Grizzlies. Ball on the 24-yard line. 8 minutes and 30 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. 27-14, Regis Jesuit. Eve left side, and the pass is going to be incomplete.
We've seen a lot of dropped passes tonight. Lots of big opportunities turned into incompletions from both teams. DeJesus with the big missed pass, and then a few also from the ThunderRidge Grizzlies offense. It's got to be frustrating for the quarterbacks, throwing awesome passes and making nothing of them. Even the shotgun formation, 2 out wide. Handoff drops back. He decides to keep it. Runs it and stops. Is stopped at about the 40-yard line. Gain of 14 yards and a first down for the ThunderRidge Grizzlies. Eve's shown his athleticism on that play. Quick feet, able to run the ball and make a good decision with no open receivers, able to decide to run the ball and get a 10-yard gain plus.
It's going to put a new fresh set of downs for the Grizzlies. 1st and 10 for the Grizzlies. 7 minutes and 55 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Eve under heavy pressure, and it's going to result in a huge sack. I do believe that was number 7, Chase Kunkel, for the loss of 5 yards.
We've said it a lot, but Kunkel is an absolutely phenomenal tight end in the defensive end, in the Regis Jesuit defense. Fourth in the state in sacks. Absolutely putting massive pressure on the offensive teams.
He is such an active defensive player, trying to get to the ball as much as he can, as far as he can.
Firing off the end hard. Kunkel is just an awesome D lineman with quick feet.
Eve lined up under center, 2-back set. It's going to be an inside handoff to Steve Johnson. It's going to break several tackles. It's going to be knocked out of bounds at about the 50-yard line. It's going to be a gain of about 6. Not enough for the first down.
Johnson getting the inside handoff and seeing that nothing's open up wide. Bounces outside to bring the 6-yard gain. Awesome vision.
ThunderRidge being able to convert the last 4 third downs, that's a big number for third down conversion, especially at the high school level. Eve is going to line up under center. He's going to drop back, roll out, and the pass is going to be incomplete for the Grizzlies.
Another dropped pass. That is a lot in this game.
It was a little muffled up. The pass was not as great as it could have been. The receiver doing his best as he can to, snag the ball away, but was not able to for the first down, putting both special teams units out on the field.
We see Eve been rolling out a lot to the left because of his left-handedness. It makes it a lot easier for him to throw on the run. Eve having some big shoes to fill. Last year graduating Brody Westmoreland, a starter for 4 years for the Grizzlies. Absolutely phenomenal player, going on to San Diego State to play baseball.
The punt is good. It's going to be a fake punt. It's going to be a fumbled snap, and it's going to result in an incompletion.
The Grizzlies tried to snap it to the back instead of the punter. The snap was actually muffed and ended up being a detrimental play to the Grizzlies.
Wes, I'm not sure if that was miscommunication or just a play gone wrong on the previous play.
Well, you could see the punter act like he was trying to catch the ball, trying to draw the defense into believing he actually punted the ball, but it was pretty obvious that the ball was snapped to the back.
Definitely some trickery, out on the field. The Grizzlies trying to fool the Raiders into doing what they think was best.
Grizzlies trying to do whatever they can to get the upper hand on the Raiders. Currently down pretty substantially in the third quarter, But as we know, football is an interesting game. Anything can change pretty quick. Couple turnovers, interceptions, fumbles. Pick six, like we saw earlier in the game, could change the game and bring the Grizzlies right back into this one.
Hey Drake, it's RJ Media Online, the website, right?
What?
RJ Media Online, the website.
What is it?
It's going to put the Raiders offense out on the field. Hotelin's going to line up under center, 2 out wide, two-man back set. It's going to be a man in motion handoff to number 5, Alec Barnes, I do believe. He's going to be under heavy pressure and is going to gain a gain of about 6 yards.
Barnes able to gain a few yards after contact on that one.
I'm not going to lie. Alec Barnes is looking a little shaky out on the field, a little more hesitant as he usually is.
Not averaging as many yards per carry as he was in the first half. Looking a little shaken up, like he said, but still getting a lot of carries and producing some positive yards for the Raiders.
Hoteling lined up under center. It's going to be a screen pass, and it's going to be gone wrong. I do believe the receiver on that play was number 4, Jared Marine. And that did not end up the way I'm sure Regis Jesuit had hoped.
O'Hearn on the play with a tackle. Did a great job of shedding his blocker and stepping up and making the tackle for a loss.
That's going to result in a 3rd and 6 for the Raiders. Ball on their own 42-yard line. Excuse me, not on their own, on the 42-yard line. Hoteling's going to hand off to number 5, Alec Barnes inside. It's going to be a huge gain, maybe about 5-6 yards. Hopefully enough for the first down. And even if it's not a first down, I'm sure the Raiders are going to go for it here, Wes. Big play, trying to keep their lead of 27-14, increase it even more as much as they possibly can.
I want to emphasize number 56, Tim Lynott. Offensive guard for the Raiders. Absolutely phenomenal offensive lineman. Going to CU Boulder on a football scholarship.
It's going to be a 4th and 1 for the Raiders. A run right up the middle, and I do believe it was the inside handoff to Barnes. And it looks like they were able to get the first down.
Barnes just is an absolutely phenomenal running back. Able to gain the 2 extra yards that were needed to gain the first down after contact. Able to spin off and dive for the first down on that play. It's really key to have a running back that can bring in some yards after contact. It's one of Barnes' strong suits.
Hoteling under center, and there's a flag out on the field. I do believe an illegal formation or a false start against the Raiders. That's going to be a 5-yard penalty against the Raiders. Repeating first down and bringing up 1st and 15 for the Raiders offense. 4 minutes and 55 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Ball on their own 39-yard. Excuse me, not their own. They're on the 39-yard line. 27-14. Regis Jesuit. Hotelling lined up under center. 3 out wide. Man in motion. 1 back set. He's going to hand it off to number 5, Alec Barnes, yet again. And it's going to be able to turn that play around yet again into a 2nd and about 4.
The Raiders running a lot of plays with motion, causing a lot of confusion to the defense, changing some positions of linebackers and safeties, and corners, allowing Barnes to run up the middle for a gain.
And that's going to bring up a 2nd and 3. You know, Wes, we've talked about it before into tonight's broadcast. Barnes is one of those players who's going to be able to turn a first and 15 into a 2nd and 3 in a heartbeat.
Barnes with 14 carries, 115 yards, and a touchdown on the night. Once again, absolutely a phenomenal night from Barnes.
And, you know, it's a phenomenal night, but it's an average night for Barnes. I'm not going to lie.
Hotelling under center, motion to the right. And the snap, Hotelling rolls out. Pass number 46, Connor Shea caught. Looked like he was muffling it or bobbling it when he was on the way down, but is ruled a catch by the line judge.
And that's going to bring up 2nd and 5 for the Raiders. Ball on the 18-yard line, 3 minutes and 20 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. 27-14, Regis Jesuit. Hotelling lined up under center, man in motion, 1 back set, and that's going to be a false start yet again, I do believe, against the Raiders offense. Number 77, Chris Martin. You know, he's 300 pounds, 6'1", huge player on the Regis Jesuit offensive line. I do believe this is his 2nd false start of the night.
Martin definitely having troubles listening to the count, but he is also a key blocker and does provide great gaps for the running backs.
And it's interesting. Martin's, you know, he's a senior leader. It's interesting to see such a leader with, you know, these careless rookie mistakes. That's going to put the Raiders at 2nd and 10. Ball on the 23-yard line. 3 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. Hotelling under center, 1 back set. He's going to drop back, and he's going to pass it away. The pass is going to be caught to about the 20-yard line. Inside the 15-yard line, right near the first down marker.
Manuel DeJesus across the marker. That will be a first down and 1st and 10 for the Raiders. Almost a 1st and goal.
You know, one of these first downs is a perfect scenario for any football team. I love seeing it. A 1st and 10 right at their own 11-yard line, is a perfect scenario for any offense.
Really gives the offense the ability to, if they do drive the ball down to the 1 or 2 yard line, they get a new set of downs and have 4 more tries to get the ball into the end zone.
And Holt Jones is going to be stuffed behind the line of scrimmage with a loss of about 1 to 2 yards. That play is going to result in a 2nd and 11. Ball on the 13-yard line. 2 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. 27-14, Regis Jesuit. Hotelling's going to drop back, be under heavy pressure, and it's going to be a lob pass eventually resulting in an incomplete, putting 3rd and 11 up on the scoreboard for the Regis Jesuit offense. Ball on the 13-yard line, 1 minute and 48 seconds remaining here in the third quarter.
3rd and long for the Raiders. This will be an important play for the offense. If they do drive it down to the 2-yard line and get the first down, they will have the opportunity to score, which would put the Grizzlies in a tough situation.
That's right. It would definitely put them in a tough situation. Hotelling line up under center is going to be dropped back, be under heavy pressure, and the pass is going to be across the field and it's going to eventually be dropped. Another great ball that was eventually dropped by the receivers. You know, Hotelling and even Eve have had several passes tonight where it's hit the intended receiver right on the chest or right in through the hands, and it's gone right the other direction, right through their hands.
It's tough for the quarterback making such a great throw and having nothing come of it.
That's right, and they're going to put the field goal unit out on the field. Daniel Nays hopefully be able to score an extra 3 points for the Raiders. The kick is up. And it is good. Bringing up 30-14. Regis Jesuit. The field goal was from 30 yards. 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining here in the third quarter.
Daniel Nays, another soccer player on the Regis Jesuit football team. Both kickers actually this year are soccer players, able to transfer their ability in soccer to kicking, obviously.
Well, you know, something I like seeing is giving Matt Riley the responsibility of kicking the kickoff and then having Daniel Nays kicking the field goals and the extra points. I like how Coach Nolan has split the two up, you know, giving each individual a responsibility regarding on their own personal strengths.
We see Riley with the more powerful foot, but Nays with the more accurate. Nays can put it through the uprights most of the time. We saw him miss a PAT earlier, which is rare from Daniel, but doing a great job so far this season. And then Riley just booting the ball through the end zone earlier in the game, showing lots of strength behind his foot.
Well, that's going to put the Grizzlies offense out on the field. 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. 30-14, Regis Jesuit. Great Friday night high school football game under the Friday night lights here at Shea Stadium. It's definitely been a fun one to watch, Wes.
It's been awesome weather, too. This fall we've been seeing absolutely beautiful skies. No snow so far, no rain either. It's pretty cool.
And one of the things I was worried about was having the weather, you know, rainy, maybe a little slushy coming out here tonight. You know, it's definitely colder, you know, maybe below around 30 degrees. But definitely beautiful weather.
Last year when the Raiders played ThunderRidge for their homecoming game, it was a freezing game. It was almost snowing for most of the game.
It was pretty nipply for the homecoming game last year. The kickoff is underway. Matt Riley with the booming kick to about the 15-yard line. It's going to be caught across the 20 to the 25. A good return from the Grizzlies. Nearly brought down to the 30-yard line, and that's going to give the Grizzlies some decent field position.
The receiver stopped by number 16, Zach Quishan, another player that quit football and ended up returning for a senior year.
Well, that's going to give the Grizzlies decent field position. Ball on the 29-yard line. 1st and 10, 1 minute and 34 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Eve is going to line up in a pistol formation, drop back, pass it away to number 5. John Jones with a gain of about 4. Will Lowry, the tackler on that play. Good coverage from Will Lowry. Great player to be able to get the tackle like that, like how he did.
Able to step up and make the tackle on the run. Great job by Lowry.
And Lowry is one of those players who's also bounced around the depth chart a little. His freshman year, believe it or not, he was actually a quarterback. Last year playing a little more on the defensive side. And starting as a safety corner here his junior year playing on varsity.
We've emphasized the D-line a lot this game, but I want to talk a little bit about Coach Hasselbeck, the defensive line coach. Actually played for a long time in the NFL.
You know, he did, and one of the things a lot of people don't know too much about Coach Hasselbeck, he actually played rugby. He was a fantastic rugby player playing lock, playing rugby. You know, just a great guy. Great shape, and he's one of those guys who's going to condition his players nonstop as much as he can. Eve is going to be under heavy pressure. He's going to have to get rid of it. He's going to find his man, Mark Surzak. It was going to be across the 45-yard line, and it's going to be brought out of bounds. There's going to be some heavy tension out on the field.
ThunderRidge wants a flag on the play, possibly a late hit or a little bit of game misconduct.
And they are not going to be able to get the flag as they want it, but they are going to receive the new set of first down. Excuse me, the new set of downs resulting in a first down.
And ThunderRidge wasn't able to get the snap off before the end of the quarter. That'll switch him to the opposite 40-yard line.
It's going to bring up 30-14. Regis Jesuit giving the Grizzlies first and 10. Ball on the 45-yard line for the beginning of the fourth quarter. We'll be right back here on RJTV Sports Network. And welcome back here on RJTV Sports Network here at Shea Stadium. Your Regis Jesuit Raiders taking on the ThunderRidge Grizzlies 30-14. Just for the start of the fourth quarter. You know, Wes, it's definitely been an interesting game from the first couple of plays. 3 fumbles within the first 5 minutes.
It's pretty rare to see three turnovers, especially one resulting in a touchdown so early in the game.
The Grizzlies offense are going to be out on the field. Eve is going to line up in a shotgun formation. He's going to hand it off. It's going to be a huge run up the middle to about the 45-yard line. Johnson the carrier on that play.
He'll be stopped 1 yard short of the first down. Awesome play by the offensive line, really splitting the defensive linemen and the linebackers, able to create a huge, absolutely massive gap in the Raiders defense.
And that's going to bring up a 2nd and 1. Ball on the 46-yard line. 11 minutes and 30 seconds remaining here in the fourth quarter. 30-14, Regis Jesuit. Wes, I'm feeling a run right up the middle here for the Grizzlies.
It seemed to be working for most of the game. Let's see if they do it again.
And I am wrong. Eve is going to drop back, be under somewhat heavy pressure, and he's going to end up overthrowing the ball.
Very uncharacteristic of Eve tonight, usually making some great throws, putting it right in the receiver's hands.
You know, and one of the things to mention, I do believe Eve overlooked Stanley. He was wide open, ready for the ball and hopefully more yards, maybe the touchdown even to come.
The intended receiver did look like he was in double coverage. Had a few men around him, but Eve overthrowing the receiver ended up being nothing of it.
Eve line up in a under center, 2-back set. It's going to hand it off left side. C. Johnson, it's going to eventually be brought out of bounds to about the 26-yard line. There were some pretty big blocks up front, giving Johnson the chance to make the yards he did.
Offensive line is possibly the most underrated position on the field. Absolutely critical in the offensive scheme of every team.
Well, and you know one thing, I actually learned this from the blind side. The left tackle is the second highest player paid in the NFL. He covers the blind side of the quarterback, and offensive line is definitely one of those things most people overlook.
Without a strong offensive line, the running game practically disappears.
That second play is going to bring up 3rd and 9 for the Grizzlies. Ball on the 29-yard line. 10 minutes and 45 seconds remaining here in the fourth quarter. Johnson, a handoff up in the inside. He's going to shred several tackles, drive the way, and is eventually going to bring up for the first down, I do believe.
Before that play, Zeke Johnson had 13 carries for 67 yards and a touchdown.
And they are going to be able to move the chains with that previous play, resulting in a 1st and 10 ball on the 17-yard line. 10 minutes and 15 seconds remaining here in the fourth quarter. Eve line up in a shotgun formation. He looks right. It's the corner route, and it's going to result in an incomplete pass. Good coverage by the Raiders defense.
It looked like Eve threw it over the opposite shoulder of the intended receiver. If he would have thrown it to the left, it would have been a phenomenal pass right in the hands.
You know, it's a tough throw to make, but Eve went for it, and he's one of those quarterbacks who will be able to pull out the tough throws every once in a while.
Eve's a great quarterback with a strong arm, also showing his running ability earlier in the game. With some quick feet, able to shed some tackles and gain some yards.
And that's going to bring up 2nd and 10 for the Grizzlies. Eve line up in a shotgun formation, drop back, be under heavy pressure, but he's going to be able to get the ball away. Great play for the Grizzlies, excuse me. It's going to be a catch and run by Surzak for a gain of several yards. And eventually he is going to get the first down and bring up the 1st and goal, ball on their own 4-yard line.
Eve was absolutely smashed on that play by number 34, Drew Schlegel, coming out of the linebacker position, putting some major pressure on the quarterback and actually giving him quite a good pop as he let go of the ball.
That's right, and that's going to put the ball at the 4-yard line, the Raiders' own 4-yard line. We need a big stand for the Raiders. It's going to be a handoff inside to Stanley, and it's going to be met at about the line of scrimmage. Maybe a gain of 1, maybe a loss of 1.
Looked like Schlegel just met him in his gap again on that one. Awesome job filling his responsibilities.
Schlegel's coming out with a little more passion than he usually does in a Friday night game like tonight. Schlegel's one of those guys who came up to varsity as a sophomore. He's a junior now. He's just such a great player when it comes to football.
Last week against Highlands Ranch, Schlegel with 4 solo tackles, 3 tackle assists for a total of 7.
Eve is going to line up under center, 2-back set. It's going to be a run to the left side, and it's going to result in a touchdown for the Grizzlies.
Once again, we see the Grizzlies emphasizing the outside runs. Really playing on the struggling defensive ends this quarter.
The Grizzlies down by 10 with 8 minutes and 59 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. And they're down by 10 before the extra point. 8 minutes and 59 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. We have a great Friday night football game in our hands, Wes.
ThunderRidge Grizzlies are working their way back into this game, still down by 10. But they will have a good opportunity to put some more points on the board in the rest of the game and get them back into scoring position.
And they're actually going to go for 2 on this play, and it's going to be good. The 2-point conversion is good, bringing up 22-30. Regis Jesuit, great play call by the Grizzlies. Unfortunately for Regis Jesuit, they now have to play just as hard as they were in the first quarter.
Yeah, defense has definitely gotta step it up today. Now just a 2-possession game to put the Grizzlies, in the lead. That missed PAT could be coming back to haunt the Raiders, as we said before.
Yeah, it is right now. This is a 1-possession game. If the PAT was good, it would have been a 2-possession game.
The Grizzlies struggling a little bit on the season before this game, with a record of 2-4, losing a tough one 2 weeks ago to Mountain Vista just by a score of 7 points.
Well, and we all know how Regis Jesuit did last year. coming up short in the second playoff round against Grandview. That was a fantastic game, an unfortunate loss for Regis Jesuit.
Former Regis Jesuit student Chukuma Obana, running back for Grandview, actually had a phenomenal game against the Raiders in one of his few starts for the Grandview.
He, in fact, I hate to bring this up, he hurdled a Regis Jesuit defensive back. It was Chukuma coming out hurdling. I do believe it was Justice Taylor. Unfortunate for any team member to be hurdled, but it was one heck of a game to watch, especially if you were rooting for the Grandview.
Obana, one of the absolutely key running backs in the Grandview organization, is actually one of the top recruits for the 2015 class in Colorado.
Yeah, definitely a top prospect for the 2015 class. And the kickoff is underway, a booming kick to about the 25-yard line. It's going to be brought across to about the 35-yard line, giving the Raiders decent field position for the upcoming drive. Kyle Johnston was the carrier on that play. As I mentioned before, giving the Raiders offense pretty good field position compared to a touchback.
Couple of short kicks from the Grizzlies, giving the Raiders good field position, like you said, Jack, and also giving them the opportunity to run the ball with only 8 minutes and 43 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Looks like the Raiders are discussing their game plan over on the sideline, along with the Grizzlies. Grizzlies need a stop here to give them the opportunity to tie this game up.
Eight minutes and 53 seconds remaining here at Shea Stadium. A pretty cold fall evening here. Hotelling's going to line up under center, man in motion, two back set, one out wide. It's going to be a handoff to the left side. There's a flag out on the field.
Not quite sure what happened on that play. We'll see what the referee has to say, what the penalty is.
You know, the flag was during the play, so maybe an illegal block or a hold.
Looks like it was a hold on the Raiders. That'll bring it back. That'll bring it back, but I'll also give the Raiders another first down opportunity.
It's going to put the Raiders offense back to about the bringing up 1st and 18, back to the 30-yard line. Hotelling under center, man in motion, two back set, one out wide. He's going to hand it off to number 5, Alec Barnes, and he's going to be met at about the line of scrimmage, maybe a gain of 1.
We see the Raiders going in a no-huddle formation. Maybe it's kind of interesting, though, them being up in the game with 8 minutes and 32 seconds. You think that they would want to kill some more time off the clock?
Well, I figure you have two scenarios: either kill as much time as you can, or try to, speed the game up and hopefully get more possessions than you usually would.
That's a good point, Jack. Adding some points to the scoreboard would definitely deflate the ThunderRidge Grizzlies.
There was a flag out on the previous play of a personal foul against the Grizzlies. Definitely in favor for the Regis Jesuit Raiders.
That brings them from a 1st and more than 15 to a 1st and 2.
You got to be smart. You got to be disciplined when it comes to things along. I think that was either talking or taunting or something along those lines.
You got to stay disciplined on defense.
Hotelling lined up under center, run inside. He's going to end up keeping the ball himself. And he's going to pick up the first down, eventually run out of bounds, bringing up a 1st and 10 for the Raiders.
Hotelling having a great season this year. Last week against the Highlands Ranch Falcons, 11 for 15 for 142 yards with a .733 completion rate and an average of 12.9 yards on
Hotelling under center, handoff to number 5, Alec Barnes, inside run. And it's going to be met with a gain of 4 yards, about 4 yards.
Once again, last week Hotelling also shown his running ability with 3 carries and 48 yards, averaging 16 yards on a play with a rushing touchdown. Excuse me.
You know, Hotelling's definitely coming out strong with his rushing touchdowns, his rushing yards, definitely holding on to the ball a little more, and I'm sure that comes with maturity and experience. You know, playing varsity as much as he has.
Hotelling starting on varsity as a sophomore. A lot of Regis students compare him to Johnny Manziel because of his play style, being able to run the ball and pass the ball.
I will mention John. He has much more respect than Johnny Manziel. I'll say that much.
Hotelling a very respectful person, able to give the Raiders positive encouragement on the sidelines.
Positive encouragement and reinforcement. He's going to line up under center, 1 back set, man in motion, 2 out wide. He's going to hand it off to 5, Alec Barnes for the inside run, and it's going to be stuffed right at maybe even behind the line of scrimmage.
We'll see what Coach Nolan elects to do in this situation. We have a running clock, 4th down in about 2. We'll see if Coach Nolan decides to go for it in this key situation.
You know, Wes, we have some bad experience here, 4th and about 1, maybe 2. I'm only thinking back to the Grandview game, and it looks like there's some miscommunication. Alec Barnes is very fired up, very passionate. They're going to end up calling the timeout. We're also going to take a quick timeout here on RJTV Sports Network. Welcome back here on RJTV Sports Network here at Shea Stadium. Big play for the Raiders, 4th and 2. Hotelling under center, 2 back set, 2 out wide. Handoff to number 5, Alec Barnes, straight up the middle. And it's going to be enough for the first down and even more. He's going to get the first down and eventually move the chains for the Raiders offense.
Barnes got out of bounds on that play, stopping the clock. It would have been better if he was able to stay in bounds, running a little bit more time off the clock and taking away some key seconds and minutes for the Grizzlies offense and defense.
You know, Wes, something to talk about. Taking away time is only as good as if they're able to score. You know, during this drive. Hopefully they'll be able to. Hotelling under center, man in motion. He's going to roll out, be under heavy pressure, lob the ball out, and it's going to be thrown away. And the pass was actually thrown by Alec Barnes. You don't see that too often.
Giving Barnes an opportunity to throw is very interesting in this situation. Obviously, it was a first down, but still. Barnes with no throwing experience. Very interesting.
I'm going to go with the inference that there was some miscommunication on that play.
Although we did see a similar play in the playoff game against Grandview last year. Chukuma Obana once again throwing a touchdown pass, interesting enough.
I do
after
remember
a pitch.
that. Hotelling under center, 1 out wide, 1 back set, man in motion. He's going to drop back, inside handoff to Barnes. Right side, he's going to break 1 tackle. That's going to be a big hit. He's going to break the initial tackle, and it's going to be brought down with a gain of about 7 yards. Excuse me, it was a gain of about 5 yards, bringing up 3rd and 5 for the Raiders ball on the 30-yard line.
Stanley, the linebacker, squared up, and Barnes was just able to drive right through him. Ended up being pulled down by his shoestrings.
Telling under center, one back set. It's going to roll out, be under heavy pressure by the defensive line, and it's going to result in a huge sack for the Grizzlies. That is his second sack. Evan Mars, his second sack of the night. Unfortunate for the Regis Jesuit offense, unable to pull out the scoring drive. You know, we definitely have a great football game on our hands, Wes.
The Grizzlies definitely coming back into the game. With that touchdown and 2-point conversion, really brings the Grizzlies back into this game. Gives them an opportunity to tie it up or take the lead.
You know, Wes, so here's something interesting we're going to start talking about. Go for the 2-point conversion or go for the 1?
That's a tough question. I mean, the 2-point obviously gives you the win, but the 1 solidifies your berth in an overtime. Oh, excuse me.
They do need the 8 to tie it right now, meaning that if the Grizzlies were to score the touchdown, it'd be 29-30, including the extra point. Definitely interesting if whether or not to go for it.
Definitely a tough call by the coaching staff.
And I'm sure a key factor in that is time. How much time they eventually do have left in the game. How much they might be able to score out another drive.
With the way the Grizzlies defense has been playing this past 4 plays, it seems like they've been able to stop the Raiders pretty handily.
And that's going to put the Grizzlies offense out on the field. Eve is going to line up in a shotgun formation. 4 out wide. Oh, excuse me, I'm losing it here. It's going to be a punt. Raiders punt. There's going to be no one back for ThunderRidge, hoping to call the Raiders. A good call. Taking the
some strategy being played out by both coaches. Obviously, the punter practices putting it out of bounds within the first yard or 2 after the end zone, giving the other team bad field position. But if they do end up kicking it into the end zone, it'll give them better field position than.
And ThunderRidge is going to eventually put Stanley out to receive the punt, and Plavakovich back to kick it. A good angled punt. It was a great, perfect field position Regis Jesuit needed at that point. A total of 38 yards for Regis Jesuit. Michael Plavakovich coming out strong with his booming punt. Going to put give the Grizzlies 1st and 10, ball on the 5-yard line. Handoff. Knox left side, nearly to the 10-yard line. Couple of big hits in there. It's going to be a gain of about 4 yards.
Number 6, Rayvon Solomon on the tackle. Relatively new to football. Last year was his first year playing for the Raiders.
The Regis Jesuit defense definitely needs to come out very strong here, very competitive, and this, and especially with the Grizzlies inside their own 30.
The inside handoff absolutely stuffed by the Raiders defense. Nowhere to go for the running back.
The defensive line read that perfectly, giving the running back no options, nowhere to go.
Linebackers also filled their gaps very well, essentially building a brick wall at the line of scrimmage.
And that's exactly what any defense wants at all. I mean, that's a dream come true for a defensive coordinator or even a head coach like Coach Nolan. Eve is going to pass the way, and it is going to be picked off by the Raiders defense. Anthony Gherkin, the one who was able to pick the ball away. Man, what a game changer for tonight. I mean, Regis Jesuit definitely needed something like that to ensure a win for what and how they wanted.
Anthony Gherkin showing off his receiver skills on that play, able to make a catch while running to his left. Definitely a game changer.
Well, and it's not only a game changer, stats-wise, giving the ball, putting the ball where it is, but it's also a complete morale shift. I mean, it completely takes all the morale ThunderRidge had going into this drive and giving it right to Regis Jesuit with that pick.
With just under 4 minutes left to go in the game, let's see how the Raiders approach this drive.
I'm sure they're going to want to eat up as much time as possible. Definitely giving them a little reconciliation here compared to their last offensive drive. Hotelling lined up under center, 2-back set, 2 out wide. He's going to hand it off to Holt Jones, I do believe, inside. And excuse me, that was Barnes, not Holt Jones. And he was met at the line of scrimmage, maybe a loss of 1 on the play.
We should see an emphasis on run this drive, just to run as much time off the clock as possible and possibly get a score for the Raiders to put the game into a 2-position situation.
And is there a flag out on the field? I'm not exactly sure what happened. I was looking at the scoreboard trying to get the time and if you're a Grizzly, especially in a position like this, you got to be smarter than that. Stay disciplined, stay true to the character the team invokes into what you are.
The Grizzlies' defense probably a little bit frustrated out there, but it's important to keep your cool. You can't have a penalty in situations like that.
Exactly, and that's going to give the Raiders even better field position on the Grizzlies' own 8-yard line. It's going to be a run right up the middle, resulting, I do believe, in a first down.
It's a very important first down that allows the Raiders to run even more time off the clock.
And I'm sure that's all Coach Nolan has in his head right now, running time off the clock, especially in a situation like this. And I do believe there's a timeout on the field. We are also going to take a quick timeout here on RJTV Sports Network. And welcome back here on RJTV Sports Network. The Raiders offense out on the field, ball on the Grizzlies' own 4-yard line. First and goal for the Raiders. Hotelling's going to line up under center, 2-back set, 1 out wide. Handoff to Alec Barnes right up the middle. It was a great hit by the defense. And there might have been a gain of a couple yards on that play. It's going to result in a gain of 1 for the Raiders.
The ThunderRidge defense came to play tonight, getting beat pretty bad last year in the homecoming game by the Raiders. Although it was adverse weather, the Raiders still putting up a lot of points on the Grizzlies.
Hotelling under center, he's going to hand it off to Barnes yet again, and they were ready for him.
Barnes before that play with 24 rushes, 147 yards, and a touchdown.
Fantastic night by Barnes. I mean, it's a fantastic night, I've mentioned before, but a pretty average, typical night for a running back of his caliber.
Alec Barnes is such a playmaker on the Raiders offense, able to run the ball very strongly and put the Raiders into scoring positions very often.
That's right. He's definitely something any team should fear at a time like this.
Barnes actually a phenomenal lacrosse player also. Committed to committed to DU to play Division I lacrosse.
And he won the state championship last year with the Regis Jesuit lacrosse team. You know, one of those guys who's just a dual athlete. Goes all out in anything he can.
He runs his heart out on the lacrosse field too, winning the faceoffs and taking it into the offensive zone and putting shots on goal.
All right, Wes, we need one play to shove it up right into the end zone. I mean, and I feel like this is it. Hotelling lined up under center. He's going to drop back, pass it away, and it's going to be across the field, and it's going to result incomplete for the Raiders.
We should see a field goal in this situation.
I'm feeling a field goal. Try to get the extra points, make it a 2-possession game.
With a little bit over 2 minutes, actually 2 minutes and 12 seconds left in the fourth quarter. This will put the Raiders up by 2 possessions.
And whether or not this was a touchdown drive or, a scoring drive, all that matters was the Raiders needed to score here to make it a 2-possession game. Daniel Nays back for the extra point. The snap is muffled. Oh, no. Michael Blavakovic is going to run out with it. It was across the 10. And there's a flag out on the field.
The low snap was very detrimental to the Raiders special teams unit.
At any time, any snap, any low snap or high snap is bad, especially for special teams. But especially at a time like this when it is so necessary, or so, you need the extra point here. And something like that is just uncalled for and unnecessary. Definitely something the Regis Jesuit needs to practice on.
Another key position on the field is the long snapper. It's a very difficult position to fill. Not many high school kids have the ability to snap the ball with speed and accuracy.
And this is going to open up the door for the ThunderRidge Grizzlies to hopefully come out with a touchdown in their favor. We have 2 minutes and 3 seconds remaining here in the fourth quarter. The Grizzlies on ball on their own 24-yard line, 1st and 10. Eve in the pistol formation, 3 out wide, 1 back set. He's going to drop back, look to the right, look to number 5. John Jones, and it's going to be enough for the first down and eventually get out of bounds, stopping the clock.
Jones was absolutely wide open on that play. No one within 5 yards of him. Relatively easy completion for the Grizzlies.
And Jones is one of the big-name players that the Grizzlies have been thrown to all night. I'm sure definitely I'd want to make him one of the men I mark and, look at, especially on the defensive side. Eve lined up in a pistol formation, drops back. Look. He's going to end up keeping it himself. He was under heavy pressure by Chase Conkle and the rest of the defensive line.
Chase Conkle putting some pressure on Eve, causing him to slide down for a gain of 1 yard.
That's going to bring up 1 minute and 33 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Eve's going to drop back, be under heavy pressure by Chase Conkle yet again. And it's going to be a wild one up in the air, resulting in an incomplete pass for the Grizzlies.
We saw seniors Connor Sinks and Chase Conkle chasing Eve down on that play.
Chase Conkle, we keep talking about him. He is a huge name for the Regis Jesuit defense. Definitely someone to look forward to watching. Hopefully he'll be able to pull out a college scholarship. If he won't go to college for lacrosse, I'm sure he'll be able to pull something out for football.
Another key player in the Raiders defense is Connor Sinks. Last week with 5 solo tackles.
That's right. Eve is going to line up in a pistol formation, a low snap, and it's going to be a huge hit by number 34, Drew Schlegel.
Drew Schlegel timed that perfectly right when he caught the ball. If he would have hit him a little bit earlier, it could have been a pass interference or an incompletion.
And that's going to bring up a down. What do you think they're going to do here? Go for it or punt the ball away?
This is interesting. This is a must-do situation for the Grizzlies. We'll see how they play this one off. Looks like they're going to go for it.
It's a 4th and 13, a minute and 5 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. The Grizzlies are going to go for it. Eve lined up in the shotgun formation. He's going to be under heavy pressure by Chase Conkle. He's going to be able to escape it. It's going to look out. It's going to be a deep pass, and it's going to be intercepted by the Raiders. Great play coverage for the Raiders defense, number 30, Will Lowry, the one who was able to intercept the ball. Fantastic job. Fantastic coverage. Fantastic play all around for the Raiders defense.
Absolutely key interception for the Raiders. That should end the game here. Unless something happens that gives the Grizzlies the ball back, that should be the final score of our game.
And one thing I want to mention, Eve was under heavy pressure by the defensive line, Chase Conkle especially. And then he threw the interception to Will Lowry. You know, that shows how deep the Regis Jesuit defense is, and how skilled and talented the entire defense is.
Like you said, Jack, that play definitely shows the importance of quarterback pressure, causing Eve to step up and throw while under pressure, ends up making a mistake and throwing right into the hands of Will Lowry.
And that's going to put the Raiders offense out on the field with 50 seconds remaining here in the fourth quarter, 30-22, Regis Jesuit.
Grizzlies with no timeouts remaining. We should see a relatively quick 50 seconds.
And there's going to be a delay of game against Regis Jesuit, resulting in a 1st and 15, ball on their own 31-yard line. 50 seconds remaining here in the fourth quarter, 30-22, Regis Jesuit.
The Raiders left it all on the field tonight. Definitely a awesome performance by both the Raiders' offense and defense. A little shaky at times, but ultimately coming out with a very good victory.
And they are going to come out with the victory formation, kneeling the ball.
Oh, a little trickery. And it was organic to Jones. Certainly a play.
They're going to kill the clock here, kneeling the ball yet again. All right, Wes. It's that time of the night. Who are the main player? Who are the big name players that were able to give the win to Regis Jesuit?
Obviously, Hotelling, leading the offense, was able to bring the Raiders to a win, but also Barnes and Chase Conkle. Alex, obviously a key player on the Raiders offense, running for multiple yards with a touchdown, and then Chase Conkle with that scoop and score to put the Raiders up within the first few minutes of the game. Really set the tone.
That's right. And one thing I'd like to mention, ThunderRidge, they had fumbles on the first and second drives, both detrimental to each, especially in the beginning of the game, and an interception in the last two drives.
Like we talked about earlier, that fumble on the second drive.
That you just can't have that happen from any point, at any time, during any point, any game. I mean, if you're going to fumble 3 times within the first 5 minutes from both teams, there's definitely some mispreparation or miscommunication between the quarterback, the leaders of the team, and the team itself.
Obviously, we've seen how turnovers can affect this game. Those 2 interceptions in the last 2 drives, one to Anthony Gherkin and one to Will Lowry, were both very key plays in the game, giving the Raiders the opportunity to wear some time off the clock.
That's right, and that's going to wrap it up for us here at Shea Stadium. I'm Jack Brown here along Wesley Stark, Drake Emlong, and Ben Berman. Final score 30-22, Regis Jesuit here at Shea Stadium. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.